Start. So, um, good afternoon and welcome to my session. Uh, Probably if you are here today, you face at least one time in your life all the problems regarding onboarding new team member or set up your local environment. So somehow we are sharing the same team issues, so welcome aboard the team. We are going to, what I'm going to show you today is my ideas to solve these issues. So first of all, I want to understand why a new member is so expensive. So onboarding a new member is so expensive. Then I try to figure out and I try to use some ingredients to solve these problems, and I show you how I merge it together. So first of all, I want to thank all the sponsors that gave us the opportunity to be here today. One of the best moments for Drupal community and contribute to its growing. So this is all these sponsors. And about me, I'm a freelancer web developer. I live in the northeast of Italy, in a small town near Bassano del Grappa, where you can find one of the best grappa in the world. So if you are planning to come in Italy, you can't miss it. Also, I like skateboarding, and I'm supporting a friend of mine web project based in Osgore, in France. And then in 2005, I co-founded Studio Aqua. It's a small Drupal shop in Italy made up of freelancers, and we try to support companies and agencies in their Drupal projects, developing new features, managing the security updates, and designing new Drupal projects from scratch. Finally, I am a co-maintainer of Ubenda integration module, so we need help. So if you want to join us, come with us during the sprints. So this is the main problem I was thinking in the last few months, and I want to tell you a story about me, because 3 months ago a new baby comes in to my family. So a new family member comes in, and it's one of the best things it happens to me in my life. And I realize that in some ways a new team member is like a new family member. Okay, obviously it's not the same, but there is something in common. And let's see. Because when a new member comes in, you are full of expectations, and you are happy because he can help you to reach your goals, to show something in a different point of view, can improve the quality of what you are doing, and also he can teach you something new. So it's a great thing. Yeah, I learn a lot. I learn how to change diapers too, but my daughter teach me something more important, that a new team member makes planning for the future events harder. And so probably your plans will be break. As a matter of fact, last week I was convinced I planned to complete my session, but I didn't. And in the same way, a new team member need a lot of attention, like a little baby. Why? Because probably we don't know what he needs to be productive quickly. Okay? Why? Because usually when you are introduced in a new team, in a new working team, people gives you only the source code, the database dump, and the files, and that's it. But I think it's not enough, because you don't know what kind of process or what kind of tools the new member are using. So some use Drupal VM, VirtualBox, ColorBox, DDev, Dev Desktop, WordBee, Vagrant, Lando, MAMP. And so what kind of, I guess that each of you are using something different. Well, so I can't know if my project has some conflict with your process, with your tools, with your environment. So we have to face with something. So the best way to solve these problems, I think, is that I don't have to worry about the operating system. I have to install less tools as I can, because more tools means more complex process. And we have to automate as much as I can, because me, as a human being, I can make mistake when I follow a checklist, because, I don't know, in that day I'm tired and I forget something and something goes wrong. And so I lose time and money, obviously. And the best thing is that my local environment will be, will have the same configuration as the production environment. That's the way, but that's the big idea I have. And now I would like to share with you some path I would like to follow, and maybe you have some suggestion to give me about that, to find the best way to follow. So in my recipe, we obviously have a Git repository for the project. So then we have a Docker application, yeah, and Docker Compose, and a robo file. Robo file can help us to automate all the tasks. So we can go in depth. So Git, well, who of you are not using Git in their project? No one? Okay, so everyone knows Git, and I found this article, and I think it is one of the best model to follow if you want to use Git and Git branch in your project. Then the second ingredient, Docker. Why Docker? Because Docker helps you to be independent from the operative system and the infrastructure and obviously the application. So I choose this this tool. And what it use? It use Docker container. And what is a Docker container? A Docker container is a box, essentially a box where I can put inside my application, my services, my my external libraries, everything I need to build up my environment. So some of you can say, but what is the difference between a Docker containers, and a virtual machine? Well, a virtual machine contains the full operative system and everything inside one file. So if you have, and usually this file is very heavy, so if you have to share the configuration, your environment with other people, it's a little bit tricky. And even more if you are working in a remote team, okay? So if you have to share your configuration with another team member in South Africa, it's a little bit tricky. So I consider container the best solution, because you have only configuration file to share with other people. So if you want to know more about Docker, you can I suggest you to read this interesting article in Drupal.org. And then how can I manage all the containers, all the Docker containers? Well, I use Drupal for Docker for Drupal. It's a configuration, essentially a configuration file. Is a Docker Composer YAML file from WordB. You can find in this link in GitHub, and with this file you can manage all the containers you need for your environment. And finally, I use Robo. Robo is a task runner that can helps you to automate your tasks. And I choose this one because it made in PHP, and I know I am a PHP programmer, so it's easy for me to implement my automation. Okay, now go inside the configuration. So we have to think about two things. Okay, we have to, as I said before, we have to share with a new member not only the source code, but even the configuration of the environment. So when I create a new project, I have to prepare my configuration. And so let's see how can I do. Well, we use the Docker Compose file, where inside we can put all the containers we need. So in this case, we have the database server, MariaDB. We have PHP preprocessor, and then the web server, Nginx. If you are macOS users like me, you have to make some changes to this file, because usually you can download from the Git repository and use it as is. But if you are using macOS, you have to do a little change. If you see in the volumes configuration, I use the delegated flag. This flag helps me to synchronize in an easy way my file system, my local file system with the container file system. But if you want to use that, you have to download the Edge channel of Docker. So that's it. This is what you have to do for the environment configuration. Then let's see what we have to do in the settings. In the settings, in the Drupal settings. So I add the configuration sync directory and a setting local PHP if exists. So the settings local PHP is useful for us to contain the database configurations, and we can copy and paste this snippet of code as is in our settings local, and then obviously we set up the trusted host. Okay, this is the only thing you have to do for your Drupal settings. Then let's see about Robo. So first of all, we have to set up our Robo application. So we go inside our project, we use Compose to install Robo, and then we have to initialize it. When you initialize it, robofile.php is created, and inside of that you can put your tasks. So I insert my function build, and inside of that I put all the tasks I want to run automatically. And so what I do, I initialize Drupal first of all. Well, first of all, I do a makeup command. Makeup command is the command that spin up all the containers you set up in the composer, in the Docker Compose file. Then it uses the Drupal console to initialize Drupal, and then I create a symbolic link for my setting local PHP file. Then I run Drupal installation with Drupal console, and in the end I clean up the settings.php, because when you run Drupal installation with the console, the console automatically insert the database configuration inside settings.php, but we don't need it because we use the local setting. Okay, so this is what you have to do only the first time when you set up your project. Then when a new member comes, let's see what he has to do. So basically he has to clone the project, and oh my god, so we can see here we only, okay, then we have to build the project. So go inside and composer build, yeah, okay, I go on, and then run Docker first step, third step, and in the end he has to run the build function to build up the environments. So what I'm trying to say here is when you want to onboard a new member, the new member has only to do 4 manual steps, and is ready to work on the project. Okay, I am in. It is a starting point because there is a lot of other things we have to do, because obviously you want to import your configuration, your Drupal configuration. You probably need to compile your SAS files, and this is all things I'm thinking about it, but it's not ready to present to you. But this is the way I would like to follow. So in the end, obviously, you can run your environment. So I think you not believe in me, so probably you want to see a demo, a live demo, and I am so brave to do it. So okay, so the command is git. Oh, sorry. Oh, why not? Where is my... Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay, I clone my project. I go inside my project. Okay. Install. Okay. It takes a few minutes to download the Drupal core. And here we are installing all the modules and dependencies we need for our project. Okay. Now I run Docker. Well, you have to wait. Please, Docker. Okay. Come on, baby. You can do it. Another few minutes. No, another few seconds, I hope. Okay. I get it. And then build. And now we are spinning up the containers we need. Orion Composer install if there is some other module to install. Then I initialize Drupal. Then I create the symbolic link. Then I install Drupal. I'm installing Drupal. It takes a few seconds. Okay. I clear the cache. the end. DD, okay, this is, I hope, okay, we got it. So this is my environment and it's ready to work. Okay. Okay. So this is what I'm trying to do. So and to solve the problems to onboard a new member. And I think in this way, as you see, in few minutes you are ready to work on the project. This is what I'm trying to do. So now, if you have, so that's it. And thank you for your time. If there is any question you want to share with me and some suggestions, feedbacks, you're free. You're welcome. No questions? Yeah. Yes. 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 Obviously. Yeah, but the things is, well, if it doesn't know Drupal, I don't know if I want in my team to work on a Drupal project, obviously. But the things is, I want to give to a new member only a simple way, so simple steps, like a four steps to do, and he has not to think anything else. So I give him the source code and the configuration, all you need, all he needs to be productive. This is what I'm trying to do. Obviously, I am at the beginning of this process. I want to only share with you my ideas, and so I hope this is useful for you, Boo. Sorry, can you repeat, please? Yeah. So all the teams work on only on one server. Well, is maybe it works, but I don't know if it's so easy, because if you are working, if you have 5 person that is working are working in one project, probably you have some problems with merging the code. Yes, you have to create a separate branch for each member, probably in the server. Well, I guess that you want to use a remote server for all the team. You probably is better that you use some service like platform.sh that helps you to have well, because in some projects there is no budget for this kind of infrastructure. So if you want to use something simple, and use only a local machine to develop it, and then a staging and a live environment. You can use things like that. Is less expensive. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, this is another thing we have to insert in this process, because with the RoboFile you can, and with Drush you can synchronize the database. So I don't show you because it's not ready yet, but this is one thing we are thinking about. Other questions? No more questions? What time is it? It's time to go to a coffee break. Yes, it's better. Okay, thank you very much.